Four seasons lost. In Austin, I saw pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, focus reflected. Often mirrors a pit, quick, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and I want to say happy Monday. Hopefully, everybody had a very good weekend, and we're going to start off because today is a busy day, and OU is playing right now. Let me see, it's still 2-1 Florida right now through 6. So just been kind of keeping updated on that because there's some very good, obviously, baseball things going on and softball and an OU women's lost 7-3 game just finished to UCLA. So they're playing an elimination game immediately after 2:30, I believe, is when the game and 2:30 is the elimination game, and OU has never lost back-to-back games or in the same day. So in the World Series, now they have, I think, the last time was 2016, I believe is what I read. Was the last time that OU women's softball team lost back-to-back in the same day. So, but anyway, they just went down 7-3 to UCLA. So, and then of course OU men's baseball team is losing 2-1. They had beat Florida 9-4. Then lost 2-7, and now they're down 2-1 through in the 6th. So we'll see kind of what happens, and we'll try to kind of keep you updated on those. Hey, Drew, what's going on? My boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. What's happening, brother?
Just enjoying the demise of the OU baseball and softball programs today.
Oh, wow, really, man? You're just going to jump right in with that, are you? That's where I forgot you're OSU and Nebraska fan, so yeah, you're going to throw
up I just got a little taste of it last week when I was home about what I'd missed all these 12 years. I'd like to get right back on them. If you're hate to see you get beat by UCLA and then get eliminated here by Florida, that would just break my heart.
Well, but remember that you said the softball, they got to play again at 2:30. Yeah. So, but baseball, this is the elimination game, kind of like what we saw with OSU baseball. I mean, what?
How about the Cowboys yesterday?
Well, Go ahead, man. Get fired up. Get fired up about them.
Getting off the deck down 12-0. Listen to all the OU fans chirp on Twitter.
Oh, chirp. They were chirping, weren't they?
Need to score 44 runs in the next 10 innings. I mean, I don't care who you are. You score 44 runs in 10 innings, you're doing something right.
You're doing something right. Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was quite impressive, but I was still pissed off about how are you up 10-5 in the 7th, and then you give up 11 runs in the 7th and 8th inning. I mean, but you and I talked about their bullpen earlier. That was one of your concerns, was their bullpen when we were talking about the Big 8 or Big 12 baseball tournament.
It's going to be who wants it today, because basically OSU's throwing a guy that's only started one game this year, I think, and a bullpen game.
Yep, and then let's go to that. I think you didn't take that, did you? You didn't take. I didn't see OSU in your deal.
I think they can throw their ace today for a couple innings if they had to, because he pitched Saturday.
Saturday.
So I mean, I think they could get 2 innings out of him if they brought him in middle inning. If they got in a little trouble, I think they could bring him in and get 4, 5, 6 innings. You know, that do that.
Well, Drew, you don't have any choice. Yeah. I mean, your season's over.
If you win today, you're on 5 days rest.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is you got to win today. I mean, what do you want to do? Try to hopefully get an at-large bid? I mean, maybe.
What a pitching performance they got out of Martin and Big Boy last night.
How about that? How about those Cowboys yesterday? I mean, but Drew, the bottom line is you put yourself in that situation in the first place. Agreed? Did you not? I mean, you don't give up 11 runs in the 7th and 8th at home. I was so pissed off listening to that. I was so mad. I'm like, are you kidding me? What are you doing, Holiday? What's up?
The ball's just jumping out of the yard.
Just
anything hit to right field is gone.
it seemed like it didn't. It was over with, brother. I couldn't believe it. I'm going, what are y'all doing, Cowboys? I mean, man. But on the other side of that, how about the Cowgirls?
Yeah, they look good. I like them tonight too.
Boy, she's pretty tough, ain't she? God damn me.
I tell you what, that if OU wins tonight against UCLA, which I think they will,
this afternoon, yeah.
But boy, that would be something special to get OU and OSU in the national championship series in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. I don't know if I talked to you about it. I was talking this weekend, and we were talking about where would that rank? OU versus OSU for the national championship game, and OU arguably having the greatest offensive team in the history of softball. And them going to state.
Are the greatest history in softball. What are they, 48-3?
Yeah, now, yeah. Right. But they got the back-to-back college player of the year. They're just loaded. But UCLA jumped on them quick, got some runs, got it out, and just gutted it out. And I think OU was really, if you want to be honest about it, you're a former player, I'm a former player. There's certain times you look at it and you're like, we got this. And I think, deep down inside they were looking ahead to play OSU.
They got 2 to win 1, too. They know they got their ace on the mound tonight.
Yep, and I think they were looking ahead maybe of exactly what you and I we're talking about. But where would you put OU, OSU softball for it all? Where would you rank that as far as –
I would tuck it right in there behind 1988 Oklahoma State OU football when Parker dropped the ball in the back of the end zone.
Or Tyreek scoring Coach Stoops kicking it to him again.
Barry Sanders against that 88 OU team that played for the national. When Parker dropped the ball in the back of the end zone, that to me probably was.
You mean when our now current head coach did not throw it to the our first team All-American wide receiver Hartley Dykes? Is that what you're talking about? He threw it
wide open in the flat.
I mean, just unbelievable, dude. And then but what's so funny is about that game is that they played OU and Nebraska and back to back. And they were like, or maybe they were in 2 games in between. And they were talking about Barry Sanders has to win the Heisman. He has to at least have good games. And he went for 200 against both of them.
Yeah, and then what they always forget is Nebraska was undefeated and ended up getting beat by Colorado and put OU in the national championship.
And yes, that's exactly what happened.
In that game, they played Orange Bowl for the national championship.
Isn't that but that's sports, isn't it? That's what sports is about. You have to come to play. If you don't come to play, and OU women's softball, they saw that today. I mean, they were a victim of their own success in some ways.
Like you said about OU softball, having 2 to win 1, but sometimes when you look ahead, you get bit in the ass.
That's exactly. I believe that's exactly. But you know what? I think UCLA woke up that giant. That's what I think happened. It's kind of like what Texas did, huh?
A lot of pressure on OU tonight. A lot of pressure.
You mean on today? No, literally, Drew, they play in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, it's just a whip around. I thought it was later.
No, they play back to back, and then because the OSU games tonight is 7 or it's 6, 7. So they
didn't have to sit and stew on it for 4 hours.
Oh man,
right back out there and playing.
Yeah, they're gonna. I believe they're gonna spank UCLA. That's what I think is going to happen. Because UCLA, who are they going to throw against them? They got to throw their backup pitcher. You gonna try to turn around and throw your ace against them again, whom they've just seen for 8 innings? No.
Let's see if we got a line on this softball game. I bet it's OU big.
I would. Oh, dude, I bet OU beats them by 10 runs. I mean, I think they're just gonna light them up. I mean, that's the old adage. If you get one more shot at somebody when you're like in NCAA, March Madness, you're one and done. Can you imagine if some teams got to play, they got to go in a round robin, they get upset, they get to come back around and have another win to go through the losers bracket? Boy,
NCAA
there would be a lot of yeah. What is it?
Doesn't have a line yet. Oklahoma State is 220 favorite over Texas tonight.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. And you know what? The good thing about OU getting beat, I think it makes Oklahoma State that much more focused.
Well, that makes OU use another pitcher.
Yep. Well, but they got they got the freshman of the year, so I'm not.
Well, I'm just talking
back.
on down the road. They had to burn another pitcher. They had to play. Who knows if that pitcher gets through the whole game tonight?
Well, but you got to remember though, in softball, the way they're doing it now, the next game is Wednesday, so they're giving them a day's rest.
Yeah, that'll help.
That's going to help both. That's going to help OU and OSU because we both get to throw our aces on Wednesday. So our ace is going to go tonight. First team All-American, who mowed down my boy Ben, and he was all upset. My boy Ben, he's a real good friend of mine, and he's a doctor, and he's a Florida guy. You know, he had to come. I told him, you had to come to Oklahoma and marry a good woman, man. You had to find you a good Oklahoma woman. You couldn't find one in Florida.
This game that OU's playing right now in Gainesville, game time, it was 92
It's
degrees.
it was
like 103 at 11.
Okay, let me see. Is it? It hasn't updated yet, Drew. Let me see if I can
I'm watching it right now. It's 2-1.
It's still 2-1 Florida.
Florida's winning. OU's no outs. OU's up back. Top 7.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at it. It was through. Okay, so now it's through 7. So they got 2 more innings. But yeah, I was looking at that and trying to keep track of both of them, the OU game and the softball game. I was doing them both, watching them both at the same time.
Just look at OU, what a draw to get sent to Florida where there's nobody in the stands. I mean, against a team that got lucky and won a Hoover, Alabama Invitational to get to the number 13 seed. And then you put Arkansas in Stillwater. And Arkansas at one time was number 2 in the country and looking for a top overall 8 seed, but lose in the first round of the SEC tournament, so they sent them to Stillwater.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to play somebody sometimes. What my coach always tells me, he said, "It don't matter when you play somebody, you got to play him. Who cares?" I'm a firm believer. I've never been.
I agree with that. I'm just saying that Arkansas Oklahoma State feels more like a super regional than it does.
Okay, yeah, agreed with that. But you still, you know what? You still got to win. And OU's getting beat. They got a favorable seed, and they're getting beat.
And then you get Texas getting Air Force and Columbia in their regional. And I'm like, come on.
What was that?
Yeah, and they're still struggling.
It's still struggling. And Air Force is sitting back waiting. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, your boy.
A lot of the OU fans were complaining about not getting a regional, but they got the best of both worlds. They got sent to probably the worst of the seeds.
Well, that's what they did.
There's literally nobody in the stands.
That's literally what they did. They but OU doesn't have a baseball. If you quit crying about it, build your baseball facility. Don't cry about it. Build your new facility.
Mid-Park isn't the greatest of facilities to host a regional either. So.
Yeah, but you know what? The whole thing is with O'Brien, it's a beautiful place, but OSU plays terrible there. What would be great is if they could hold a regional there and send OSU somewhere else and have somebody else play there. But, of course, you can't do that because would you want somebody else in your home locker room?
So give you a little up here. You got lightning and a rain delay in Gainesville. They're balls out.
Uh-oh, that's going to help OU.
Top 7, no out. Sure it does. Florida's pitcher was mowing them down.
Yep, mowing them down. Yep, that's going to help OU. They got lucky. But you know what? Sometimes you got to be lucky and good. Did you see that, by the way? Randy sent us a text and said he'll take 10 runs.
I'll take UCLA plus the 10 runs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm just out there, but I just think OU is going to beat them. I don't think they can. I don't think they can do anything with that, Drew. I really don't. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. For a second.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going. You're moving around or something, and you're popping in and out. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. What do you think about the game tonight as far as Stillwater? And because let me go to this so people will kind of see where we're at. The World Series games today is still 2-1, but it's now through 7, right? It's a rain delay.
You're not through 7. You're through 6.
Okay, so through 6, top of 7.
OU's up to bat. They got ball and a strike. I can't tell who the hitter is, but no outs, top of the seventh, 2-1 in a rain delay.
Oh, okay, sweet. And then, of course, OSU and Arkansas are tonight at 6. So, the problem, Drew, with the OU and Oklahoma State and Arkansas tonight is 6, and then the girls are at 7. A lot of people are going to be divided. That would be going to. I mean, let's face it. A lot of OSU baseball fans would be at the OSU softball game. So those people, that's going to hurt OSU, don't you think, a little bit by having those games like that?
A little bit, that and the fact that Arkansas is rolling fans into that place.
Yeah,
that was an Arkansas home game the other night, damn near.
Well, really, Arkansas, what, is 3 hours away?
Yep. And they'll roll out today. Don't kid yourself. They'll be in there in full force tonight.
Yeah, hey, and I should know where it is. I almost went to school there, so I guess I should know where it's at. But, yeah, they're going to be in full force, and it's going to be great. But you know what? Hey, isn't that what college sports is about? Going out and supporting your team. Isn't it right?
Yep.
Is that what it's all about? It's about going out and supporting your team.
I look for Oklahoma State to have a lot of fans in there. I think you're going to be surprised. There's going to be a lot of fans.
Oh, you're talking about baseball?
Oh, yeah, from Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
No. What I'm saying is a lot of the fans who would have went to a baseball game, who, if there wasn't one, would have went to the softball game. That's what I was saying. You're not going to have.
And it's on national television. It's on ESPN2 tonight.
Yeah, but OSU, the one thing about Oklahoma State fans, they travel well, and they will go support their teams, whether it's on TV or not. They will. Yep. That's more for the out-of-state, but Oklahoma State fans do support because, football, we travel well. You've been to a bowl game. We're 30,000 deep in a bowl game.
Yeah.
But I went to the game the other night, watched us play, and I'm going tonight. I just got the text.
You going to the baseball game? You going to softball game?
Softball.
Softball.
Yeah, because I don't have time to go to baseball because I get done training kids at 6. So by the time I don't, I got time to leave and, because it's right over there by Santa Fe Family Life Center. So I'm 5 minutes away from the ballpark. So
the way the games are going now, you could probably watch the softball and get into the baseball game middle of the fourth inning when it's 15-10.
Is that what it is?
Well,
you know what though?
5.5-hour game yesterday was like the last thing Oklahoma State needed. They needed a quick game against Missouri State, and then they played 5.5 hours and then turned around and beat Arkansas in the night game. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it was. Hey, and our fans were very supportive, and we were deep in there as well too yesterday. So that does help. That does help, and it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And I tell people,
looking at it as just talking about that game tonight. If you're Arkansas, you had them. You had them on the ropes. You damn sure didn't want to spend another night in Stillwater. You were ready to go, get on the bus, go home, figure out probably going to Chapel Hill to play Super Regional. Now you got to stick around and play Oklahoma State, who bats now are on fire, score 44 runs in 13 innings or whatever it was. Yeah, you can't feel good if you're Arkansas going into tonight's game.
And then when I'm sitting there looking at it, I looked at the scores, Drew, and I'm just going, wait a minute, what happened? Because I thought we were going to get, I saw we were down 12-0.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's over, And then next thing I know, I'm going, wait, what just happened?
Well, they get a grand slam, and then Martin comes in and has 16 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, wasn't it? He was mowing them down, bro.
Yep.
He just came and said, y'all not hitting nothing.
I'm looking at it right now. Largest comeback in NCAA tournament history was yesterday. Oklahoma State over Southeast Missouri State, 12 runs.
12 runs. Isn't that crazy? But they were just on fire. But you know what? That's what happens when your bats get hot because they came in and that just went right into Arkansas. Same thing.
Yeah, and I look for the same thing to happen again tonight. Like you said earlier, you got to throw the kitchen sink at them tonight. If anybody's available to go 1 or 2 innings, you got to let him throw.
Go ahead.
And I think Big Boy comes off the bench tonight. I think he'll throw a couple innings. I don't think they'll start him.
Well, I just think it depends on what happens. I think it depends on what happens.
I've read, they're starting the freshman, and they look for him to go 2 or 3 innings and then go to a bullpen to where if you can get 2 innings out of your number one and then get it to your closers.
Yeah, well, our closers didn't do well the other night, giving up 11 runs and 2 fucking innings. Excuse, I didn't say wow. I just cursed. Wow.
We need a beep.
Wow. 2 innings.
Yeah. Well, see
Wow.
how bad we are.
Wow. Anyways, yeah, I got to know. You know what? This is a perfect time for us to go to a break, and then come back after that.
Frustrated Oklahoma State fans here on the radio.
Yes, it is. Let's go, and we'll take this time to thank my guys, our sponsors, of course, at Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT needs, hey, come see my boys over there. They do a fantastic job. My boy Russell, he'll be there to take care of you, take care of any needs that you guys might have. And then, of course, SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, and planning. And Oak Grove Trucking, like my boy Jose, if you've got some trucking needs. And, of course, Max and Greg Nafee at NAFCO. So, but anyway, Drew, that being said, brother, I'm just going. Oklahoma State sports sometimes is very frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Wait, hold on. Let me rethink. Let me rephrase that. Sports in general can be very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, when you're telling me like you this year the national championship game, how do you just go from first that half to that other half? How do you do that? And that's frustrating. Or, you know, in football, how do you go up and you're beating and all of a sudden you can't score, you can't move the ball, you can't this, you can't that. By being a Dallas Cowboy fan, same thing. You know, I mean, it just drives you crazy.
Yeah. That might be the most frustrating fan base in the history of sports, is being a Dallas Cowboy fan.
You mean since Jerry got rid of Jimmy?
I mean, dude. I mean, even before Jerry was there. I mean, the Tom Landry days. They lost 4 straight NFC Championship games. You lose Super Bowl to Steelers twice. I mean, on circus catches and drop passes in the end zone in '76.
Okay, I have a question. How does one of the greatest tight ends in the history, one of the best catching tight ends in the history of football, drop a wide open touchdown pass? I mean, a great call by Landry too, and Jackie Smith.
Yeah. Jackie Smith, right in the hands.
Wow. Hey, and Randy just sent us a text and said UCLA is pitching the same girl that ended the game before.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
I mean, Drew, what are they doing? I guess it's all in. It's, you know, you can rest tomorrow. You can rest tomorrow.
She beat him once.
Dude, it's hard to beat somebody twice in the same. I mean, after those pitchers get how many looks with that? 8 looks at somebody,
and then OU gets base hit first batter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that, but I mean, all that says is UCLA didn't have anything else. Don't you think, Drew? Because they unseeded? Weren't they unseeded?
Yeah, they are the 5 seed, so they're good. They're the 5th ranked team in the country.
I thought, they were, because I thought it was Texas. Who was Texas and somebody, or who was it? It wasn't Texas. It was Florida, and who? I thought it was Florida and UCLA were there.
I'm getting old. I can't see. Yeah, they're the 5 seed.
Okay. But anyway, so I'm sitting there looking at them, and I just don't see it happening. And I might give you and Randy those 10 runs, because I think OU is going to. I think they're going to plummet.
All right, I heard that, Randy. I know you heard it too.
No, he didn't. Neither one of y'all heard. I said I think. I didn't say I would. I said I think. Hey, how about this for a bottle of Crown? Where is it? This right here, Joe. You can't see it right here. Bottle of let me see. This is Crown Royal Reserve, brother.
There we go.
In the box, right there. By the way, I can't give this to you, Drew. That's Randy's birthday present. I haven't seen him yet. That's his birthday present.
Just hit a double, run scored, 1-0 Sooners.
I told you, man. They're gonna obliterate them.
Run did not score. Second and third, 1 out.
Oh, they didn't bring it? They didn't bring it?
No.
Oh, being conservative, huh? Anyway. Okay, Drew, let's go. We're going to do this. Let's go through and check out your deals. Okay, now this is an early seat. This game is not till Wednesday, everybody, so everybody's got to slow down. The game is not until Wednesday. But right now it's early. Boston's the favorite, -3, some 3.5. The Celtics over 212, huh? By the way, great call the other night. Didn't you go 3 for 3? Or no, you were a push. What were you, 2 for 3?
I pushed the first quarter line at -1, but I had Golden State and I had the under.
Yep. Yeah, because we talked about that, didn't we, on Friday?
You knew that Boston wasn't going to hit 10 threes in the fourth quarter.
No.
And Golden State, number 2 ranked defense in the NBA all year, that they were gonna have to buckle down on the shooters and get up underneath them, which is exactly what they did.
Yep.
Boston
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too because I got the stats up here. Now you have the Padres minus 118, UNC minus 220, and LSU minus 120 for baseball.
So LSU going to have a big home field advantage tonight in Baton Rouge. That place is crazy. I don't see Southern Miss beating them tonight. And then Oklahoma State, that's a coin toss. We've already kind of talked about them a little. And then North Carolina's playing on their home field against Coastal Carolina. I look for North Carolina to probably win that. And then
the Padres.
And then head Stillwater, hopefully.
Yep. And then the Padres is, that's the Padres.
Mets are struggling right now. They going on that West Coast trip, coming off a late night on Sunday night, and then having to go right out to San Diego. That'll be a turnaround.
Hey, Drew, Randy asked which one were you?
What's that?
I've got the picture of you and Husker Drew or whatever whatever that dude is on the deal. Yeah, he says which one is you. But speaking of that, speaking of the game last night.
There you go, Matt. 3-run home run. OU 3-0.
Yeah, I told you, man. It's gonna get ugly quick, Drew. It's gonna get ugly quick.
Glad I didn't take those 10 runs.
Yeah, well, no, you and Randy said y'all took them, didn't y'all? Say y'all took them.
He said you think about it. You didn't do it, see?
Well, I can't give you Randy's crown reserve anyway. That's his reserve, bro. You know how he is about his crown. Can't even he'll be upset if we try to get away his crown. You already know how that is. But anyway, last night, what was your biggest takeaway? Because both third quarters, Golden State did what they did. The thing was in the fourth quarter, Boston. What did they end up going? 12 for 13 or 11 for 12 from 3 in the fourth quarter of game 2 or game 1?
11 for 13.
Yeah, in game 1. And we knew that wasn't going to happen. And when you go back here, let's look at the stats. Because when we were looking at Drew the other night, 15 for 20 between Marcus Smart, Horford, and White. That was not going to happen again. They went 15 to 37 as a team. But what was interesting, both teams went 15 for 37, Drew.
Right.
Which is crazy. And, the Celtics only scored 88 points. And that's the Boston Celtics we know. Don't you agree? 90, 95 points. That's about what they score. They play great defense. They hold the other team down. Isn't that about right? No, they score around 90. What did they average this year in the playoffs?
The Celtics giving up or scoring?
Scoring.
Scoring like 107, and they give up like 98. They got a pretty low 96. They're pretty low on the points against.
Well, Golden State is they've scored the same amount of runs points in both games.
Yep.
108, 107. So they're right there on the point. We see with Golden State shot 45% from the field, had 42 rebounds, 40 points, and my favorite stat is points in the paint. They had 40 when they were up from 34, 36 the other day. 12 turnovers. Celtics 37% from the field, which is what killed them because 15 for 37 is not bad. But the 37% killed them. 43 rebounds, only 24 points in the paint. They were down 12 points, Drew, in the paint. 12. And then, of course, they were up in turnovers. Yep. But they shot the same amount of free throws. They were 13 for 17 in game 1 and 13 for 17.
If you look back to Friday night, if you look back to game 1, White has a career high, hits 5 threes. Mm-hmm. Horford has a career high, hits 6 threes. And Golden State scores 14 points in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That was just a perfect storm. They hit every shot, and Golden State couldn't throw it in the ocean.
Yeah, and then, everybody, I was arguing with the guys at the barbershop.
And then I don't understand, how do you sit in that game? How do you sit Curry the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I didn't understand.
I think he was going on his rotation, and he assumed that those guys were going to be able to break through that, and that did not happen. And then once he brought Sterry in, I quit watching, Drew, when Horford knocked down that 3 to go 101, 101, or whatever it was. I was like, this game's over.
Well, and then I had written down that, okay, the Celtics were up 3. Draymond turns it over, and then Pritchard hits the corner 3. And then they're down 7. Draymond missed 2 free throws, and they come down and hit another 3. Ball game.
Yep, ball game. Now, speaking of Draymond.
That was the lowest quarter of the year for Golden State.
Oh yeah, it was no question. Now speaking of Golden State and Draymond, Drew, do you think that should have been a double
Well,
tech
he's
on
like
between him
thrown
and?
out last night.
Did you think that should have been a double tech? Hey, wherever you're moving to, you need Drew. We're losing. Wherever you're moving, you need to move back to where you were.
I haven't moved. I'm just sitting in one spot, brother.
Oh, okay, it seemed like we were losing you for a minute, but go ahead.
So that goes back to the argument that they were having last night between Mark Jackson and Van Gundy. Does the ref when they brought in the former ref, and he was saying, do you take into effect who has the technicals and what the situation of the game is? And he basically said, yeah, you're not going to go by the rules. You're going to go by game situation, which I like, but it's not necessarily how it's supposed to be refereed, right?
Yep. Well,
that should have been a double technical, and Draymond should have been thrown out.
He should have been thrown out. But then on top of that, when they asked him about it, and he goes, yeah, I wasn't worried. Dude, you... And then he gets up this morning, he's on his podcast right away, throwing out his podcast. And, it's like he knows his time's coming to an end, Drew. And now he's trying to juice him up by getting all his airtime for his podcast as he can to make money afterwards, even though that little money he's going to make off the podcast is not going to take up for the amount of money that he was making. So, but anyway, my deal is this. Draymond, the thing with him and that, I've fallen on top of people before. Yeah, he probably put his feet on him a little bit, but he moved him off pretty quickly.
Yep.
And then, but when he grabbed my man's shorts, pulling himself up, I'm like, bro, were you trying to pull down his pants?
Right. Well, it comes from the same guy that did that to Steven Adams, so nothing he does surprises.
And LeBron.
Yeah, and LeBron.
Which got him kicked out for Game 5, which cost them the series. And then for him to talk about, and then for him to talk about, we were winning championships before Kevin Durant. Bro, everybody knows had you not went and got KD, you were not going to beat Cleveland again. That was not going to happen. So shut your mouth.
They went and got him.
They had to. And then, of course, KD, KD was gone. He knew he wasn't going to win playing with Russell. Plus, Oklahoma City Thunder made a blunder by picking Russell over Kevin in the first damn place. I still don't understand that. How in the world do you pick Russell Westbrook over Kevin Durant? And all these people in Oklahoma are like, oh, well, I said, you people don't know. He's the reason why that everything fell apart. And you love him. Oh, he stayed. He stayed because nobody wanted him. He stayed because he had nowhere to go. He stayed because once he was the man, he was the man. He ran off Reggie Jackson. He ran off Oladipo. He ran off Paul George. He ran off Kevin Durant. He ran off Ibaka. Do I need to go on and on and on about the people he ran off?
Yeah, I mean, it had to have been personal. It's the only thing you think of.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. So to me, Draymond, shut your mouth, okay?
Yep.
You, Kevin Durant, wanted y'all wanted Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant was the best player on your team. Now, does stuff run through Steph? Sure it does. It has to. But at the same time, when it came down to it, you had Kevin Durant when none of y'all were, I remember it was a Game 4 when you were nowhere to be found. Steph was nowhere to be found. Clay was nowhere to be found. And KD won the game for you on a last ditch of 3 and went for 43. So shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Shut your mouth.
Yeah. So going back to what you said on what my takeaway from last night's game was, so 50-50 at halftime, and basically Seth Curry's your only offense. Him and Draymond are basically holding the line up, and then the halftime line's at -3, and then all of a sudden Thompson hits a 3, Curry hits a 3, Thompson gets going, and they run away and hide, and then Poole hits a half-court shot, and then you knew it was over.
That's the deal. We've always talked about, I keep saying this over and over and over. Golden State has a 3 to 5 minute window where they go off. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is stay in touch. But the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 is that Steph Curry makes that sideline 3 for them to go up 17. In Game 1, he missed the very same shot to put them up by 18.
Yep.
And then Boston comes back, hits the 3, goes down 12, and ended up being down 11, whatever, in the third quarter or fourth quarter to fourth. But the difference is Game 1, Game 2, Steph Curry makes that shot in Game 2. He misses that shot in Game 1. And I think that's the huge difference because isn't he just like hitting a three when he gets his little shimmy or whatever? Remember back in the day when somebody do a, well, I don't know if you could dunk, but for the rest of us, sorry, bro, I had to throw a little shade your way. Anyway, back when you would dunk, you know how the crowd would go crazy. Now it's threes. Or do you think the dunk, a three is the same as a dunk when you get one of those just monstrous thunders like when Kobe dunked on Dwight Howard when he was in Orlando, something like that, or would you rather have a three?
You hit a three and you're up 4, 17 or 20. You pretty much depends on what it is, where you are in the game. To me,
I know it depends on where you are in the game, but still, man, I just, to me, when there's that dunk, when somebody just posterized somebody, to me it just seems like, I mean, I know threes are great, but when you get posterized, bro, it's just, to me, it's just something about.
Well, I mean, that would be a good question for Randy since he's been on the receiving end of both of them.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, too soon.
That may be a little too soon, bro. he's gonna get you for that one. There's no question. You know it's gonna be coming. You know he's gonna get you for that. So, but
the game last night. I mean, would you agree with this that Golden State has outplayed Boston 7 of the 8 quarters?
Oh yeah. Well, remember it was just like when Boston against Miami. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing with that. It was Boston, Miami. It was the same thing. So, Boston was beating Miami in every quarter, but, Miami was still in it. I mean, it's almost the same thing. But, to me, I was, we were talking about this bar when I was talking at the barbershop that this guy was throwing out all these stats to me. And I said, man, listen, game one is game one. Don't mean a whole lot. And he goes, well, the winner of game one wins 90% of the time, wins the deal. I go, okay, who is? I said,
about 70% of the time. But
but I told him, I said, okay, if the one team is better than the other team, and they lose game one, what is the deal? And it's like 50%. I'm like, dude, I remember when the Lakers got beat by, what did Boston beat them by in 87, 38, 42 or something ridiculous?
Memorial Day Massacre.
Yeah, and they came back and beat them 4 out of 5. So, I don't want to hear all that mess. I'm like, man, I don't want to hear all that mess, man. Game one is game one. It doesn't mean a whole lot if one team is better than the other. If one team is better than the other and they win game one, they were supposed to. And if one team is better than the other and that better team loses, just, that's that one thing where they got sat longer. And you and I talked about this. If you're going to win one, the team is not as good as the other. Game one is the easiest one for you to get.
Right.
Always. So I'm like, man, just calm down, Junior. But that's also, they're talking about how Magic wasn't one of the top 10 players out of that group. So I don't know how much those young kids know over there. But, we'll see. By the way, you got to make sure you give me my list of what you want me to talk about, what we're going to talk about, what the question is. They didn't really like your question on Friday, Drew. We're talking about by the way, this is a good segue. I want to thank our guys, our peeps over at Y&B, family owned and operated since 1912.
The bank that makes things happen.
Yes, they do. You can pre-qualify online for any cars or anything like that, or houses, refinance, any of that at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. We want to thank Randy and Carolyn for their support in us going out and doing remotes at minority businesses and minority and black-owned businesses around Oklahoma City. And on Fridays, we go to my barbershop, Cutting Up Barbershop, which is at 35, let me get that on it. 35 Northeast 36th Street. They open 9 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday. You can see the Keith, Lee, Sean, Chris, or if you've got some stuff for your hair, by all means, hit up Allison if you're a woman and you got some things like that. But anyway, I want to thank Y&B for their support of allowing us to go out to the different minority and black-owned businesses. But anyway, every Friday we go to because I got to get my stuff tight. Got to get that fade. And Drew's been giving us the questions. And 2 weeks ago, the question was great. They didn't really like your question last week, Drew. They didn't like your question. So you got to come up with better questions, bro.
All right, man. I'll have a good one for you Friday.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, let me see. What was your question? Yeah, your question was weak.
Trade.
Yeah, here was your question. Joel Embiid for Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. They didn't really like your pick, man. They didn't even know. Nobody even responded to that, man. They didn't care, man. They didn't care. We got to work on that. We got to get you something. Yeah, we got to if you're gonna be asking questions in the hood, brother, you better step up your game, man. Or either ask them that are a little bit more relevant to the youngness in their mentality over there, because they're all young except for the old heads. Me, Keith, and Lee, we're the old heads. But Sean and Chris, they're the young heads, man. They're over there, running their mouth, and they get all their little young boys in there, and just, oh, my God. Well, you'll see once you get back and we're in the shop together, so that'll be funny. Now they're starting to, put their faces on camera and all that. I'm like, man, but you ain't cute enough to be on. Get off. You break my lens, man. What's wrong with you? Get off the camera, bro. But anyway, hey, anything? What's the score with the OU game? Is it still in rain delay or
3-0, bottom one. UCLA's got a runner on second, 2 outs.
Okay, so 3-1. What about OU game, the baseball in Florida?
Still in rain delay.
Still in rain delay. Okay. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna get together tomorrow. Of course, I'm gonna be getting my. I'm gonna be over at my barbecue place, of course, tomorrow, Drew. You know that, man. I'm gonna be over at George's Happy Hog tomorrow afternoon. Randy and Carolyn joined me for some barbecue last week, so maybe they'll come back out this week and see how it's working. But we had a good time, and of course, I got to have my watermelon sweet tea and my hot links. And I had smoked bologna the last time, though, Drew. I don't know if you like smoked bologna, but I had smoked bologna the last time. It was delicious. It was really good. So, but that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming and watching the Unpopular Hour. This Monday edition after the weekend. Of course, keeping everybody updated tonight. Let me see, where is it? And the softball.
7 p.m. Eastern tonight in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, minus 120 against Arkansas. And then you got Oklahoma State and Texas.
Yep.
They start at 7, right?
It starts at 7. Watching this right now on ESPN. So that's at 7. Of course, the OU game. The OU is up 3-0 against UCLA in Game 2. They lost the first game 7-3 in softball. And, of course, OSU Texas is after that. And then men's, of course, OSU plays tonight at 6 against Arkansas. What did you say they were, Drew? Minus what?
Minus 120. Basically, it's toss-up. It's a coin toss game. They're both minus 120.
Minus 120. So that's ought to be good. And then, of course, OU, rain delay. Is it through 6? Is that right, Drew?
Through 6.
Florida is up 2-1. Of course, OU winning the first game 9-4, losing the second game 2-7, and down in the rubber match 2-1 through 6 at Florida. So hopefully OU will come back and get that done. So, but anyway, Drew, I want to appreciate you, brother. I've got to go, and I've got a training session this afternoon, so I'm getting ready to head back over to Santa Fe Family Life Center. But appreciate you, brother. Now, you coming on tomorrow, or you not doing tomorrow?
I'll come on tomorrow.
Okay, come on tomorrow. We'll talk about what happened today in softball and baseball. And
Hopefully we're previewing a super regional.
That's exactly what I think for OSU. And then on top of that, hopefully we'll be previewing the greatest championship in Oklahoma or Oklahoma State history, when both of our softball girls will be playing against each other Wednesday for the first game. Now, there's double elimination now. It's still two out of 3 no matter what, right?
Correct.
In softball, right? I mean, because I was wondering about that. I was like, okay, if OSU and they both have one loss, do they play one game, or do they automatically do Wednesday?
This is the first year that softball moved to the college baseball basically strategy of getting a winner, and so now you'll have a day break between.
They go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right, but they're not going to play tomorrow.
Right, they won't. Right. They're doing a day break. Yes. Right. Yes, and then they'll go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Correct.
And hopefully, man, wouldn't it be nice if we got a 3-game and Friday night on a Friday night in Oklahoma for the national championship, each having one win? Man, that would be the ultimate of ultimates. Now, you talk about not being able to get in a facility. Talk about tickets being through the roof. Those would be Final Four type prices of tickets or national championship game, football national championship or basketball national championship game prices. Don't you think, Drew?
I don't know what I've never been, Matt. I don't know what those tickets go for, but what does that place seat? 10,000?
10,000 or so.
Yeah. So if you figure that, your population of Oklahoma City's a little under 1 million. And,
but you got all these, man, you can't find a hotel room. Like we had a big, huge tournament this past weekend at the gym, and parents were driving back and forth from Wichita because they could not find a room. $250 a night is what the rooms were going for.
For probably a Motel 6.
Yep, $250 a night, brother. So that's the impact that has, and for the NCAA to even consider moving it is just ludicrous. I mean, it's just
you know why they're considering moving it, because you got teams like Texas, UCLA, Alabama that complain that it's an OU home game.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that they didn't complain when they were winning.
Nope.
I mean, nobody. I mean, but my thing is, Drew, where are you going to move it? This is the preeminent softball facility. Plus, the Softball Hall of Fame is right there. All these little girls get to go in there and see who were the people who started it. Jenny Finches of the world. Why would you not? That is just now. For men, they would never do that for men. Promise you.
No,
they would never do that for men. Wherever they're at, they're going to stay. They're not going to move. They wouldn't do that for men. And so women need to fight for that right to say, hey, look, you treat us the way you treat the men. You're not moving. It's a great venue. Oklahoma City does a great job hosting. I mean, literally, Drew, the Softball Hall of Fame is right there. You can just walk out the stadium and walk right into the Softball Hall of Fame. By the way, that's a great place. I did one of my TV shows there once before, and it's a great facility, and they do a great job. And Oklahoma City's done a wonderful job in supporting it.
They serve alcohol at softball games?
I don't know.
Huh. I can't tell. I
know that. I know maybe or maybe not. I had alcohol, but I don't know about anybody else.
It looked like last night it looked like for sure they were selling it at Obrot because everybody had Bud Light.
But that's baseball. It's not.
I didn't know. We can't really tell if they can't tell in the stands if people are drinking or not. Surely they probably.
Well, I was drinking, Drew. I know that. I had my flask. I was good, bro. Oh, wait. Excuse me. No, I wasn't. I was just drinking Sprite. Straight up.
Right. Cold water.
That's all I was doing. All right, brother. I'll hit you up tomorrow, man.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day.
Hey, you too, brother. All right. That was my boy, Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. He went 2 for 3 last night. He missed he pushed on the first quarter, which is first loss of the postseason by picking the first quarter, and then of course going 2 for 3 in the game and picking the under, which I thought it was going to be because the game before we both picked the over. We both lost I took Golden State, so I lost that, but I did have the first quarter, so I went 2 for 3 both days and listening to him. So anyway, so go to HuskerDrewPicks.com. It's a great place to play or to get some picks if you want to make some money. And I believe he's something like 40-something and 23 or something stupid, 44 and 23 or something stupid. So if you've been betting with him, you've made quite a bit of money gambling with him on the NBA playoffs. And also, once again, I want to thank YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. Go to YNB or www.ynbok.com if you need any loans, whether it's personal or car or home or whatever. They're great for that. And see Carolyn or Randy for that. And then also my other guys over at, I'll just put it up right here, Collaborative Logic, SRB, Oak Grove Trucking, and NAFCO. So, but anyway, everybody be safe on your Monday. And hey, if you can't, remember, either go to watch Oklahoma State softball, or if you can, get on over right now to go watch the OU girls play. And of course, if not, go watch the OSU boys play tonight at O'Bright and Stilley. So, with that being said, thank you for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark.